I think we devoted a lot of our live show on Saturday to the women's race because certainly the individual race, Tuohy versus Valby was probably the headliner. Maybe Oklahoma State and AU and inside, but I think Tuohy Valby. And Let's Run Nation was split on the. If you read the poll in our individual article, Tuohy was the slight favorite by like 2 percentage points. If you looked at the prediction contest, slightly more people picked Valby. And I think the people in the prediction contest are probably more diehards, a little bit more knowledgeable fans. I think Valby deserved to be the favorite, but in the end, this was no contest. Built up a 20-second lead. At 4K? Ends up winning by 10 seconds. So Valby wins her first cross-country title. Much deserved. I mean, one of the greatest seasons ever in women's history. I mean, you have to probably go back to a Sally Kipyego type season if you're going to find a better one. If there is a better one. I want to know how much Kim Smith was winning back in the day. When I was first started coaching at Cornell, Kim Smith seemed like she would win the regional by like 2 minutes. How much did she win?
Yeah, I didn't go that far back. I think Kipyego's who won her final title in 2008. She was the last one to win by more than Parker Valby. She won by 16 seconds in 2007. She was, as dominant as a collegiate runner as you'll ever see, and ends up being a future Olympic silver medalist. So I'm not saying this was the most dominant college season because you'd have to look at those Kipyego years, but it was certainly up there. I mean, okay, we take NCAA course distances with a grain of salt, but I feel like the NCAA course is usually pretty close to 6K to around 18:55 on that. I mean, we've never seen that sort of time in an NCAA championship. The margin of victory, she won by 10 seconds. Again, largest since 07. But also, she beat Doris Lemngol, the runner-up. She beat her by 33 seconds at the SEC championships. And I think the reason Parker Valby didn't win by more in this race is she got a side stitch for the final kilometer, and that ends up eating into her lead. It shrinks by about 10 seconds over the final 2K. She ran a brilliant race. She didn't panic or anything when she didn't get an amazing position right away. She just worked her way up on the inside. She ran the tangents this time. I was watching that. I was like, wow, she learned a thing or two from Oklahoma State. Just a terrific, terrific performance to cap a terrific, terrific season. Remember, she broke the Nutty Comb course record by a few seconds, beat Katelyn Tuohy by 12 seconds in that race. The one thing, though, if you're a Tuohy defender, you can come out and say, well, Katelyn Tuohy wasn't 100% in this race. Her coach, Lori Hennis, came out and said afterwards she's sick. And I guess the question is, do you think Katelyn Tuohy was 10 seconds better than Doris Lemngol? Like, what do you think what do you think Katelyn Tuohy could have done if she was at 100% in this race?
We'll never know. But to me, battling a cramp is part of it, John.
True.
The fact that she's slowing down that much at the end, if Tuohy's on her game, could I see her running her down? Yes, I could. Now, the Valby fans are going, that's ridiculous. But I said it was never in doubt. But hey, 20-second lead down to 10. How much farther do we have to go? So to me, and we really praised her, John, on Saturday, it was cool to me. I hate the ties. It's a disgrace that we have 2 Olympic pole vault, world championship pole vault gold medalists and 2 Olympic high jump gold medalists. This is complete nonsense. You have to have a winner. You have to have a loser. So Parker Valby is the winner of this race. But in my mind, Katelyn Tuohy was a winner too. Obviously, the team did win in 3-peat by 1 point. Was it 122 to 123 or 123 to 124?
The ladder.
Amazing. But the way she battled for this team was very, very impressive to me. And you see the culture they have, the love for the sisters, the other people on the team they have that Lori Hennis has built at NC State. Because Tuohy's up there. She's in the lead. She's in the front of the lead pack, then right next to the top of the lead pack. And then I walk out of the room for a minute. I come back at 4K, and I'm like, where is she? And she's like in 11th place. And I picked up the phone. I texted John. I said, Katelyn Tuohy's, and I saw the NC State was winning. I couldn't believe it. Without Kelsey Camille, this is a team that lost the third placer from last year, the night before the race, and they're winning the meet. But I'm like, okay, Tuohy's going, this is close. Tuohy's going backwards. I text John immediately. I'm like, Tuohy's going to cost them the team
And
championship.
I agree with you, Robert, because watching the race on the big screen, she was near the front of that chase pack for a good chunk of it. And then this isn't like she's 11th, but they're all crossing the line exactly the same. If you look at the broadcast, when they run over that 4K mat, that thing is starting to spread out. The eventual second and third places, Lemon Goal, Marquezich, they're starting to break away. Katelyn Tuohy's struggling to hold on to the back of that group. It is stringing out. And I'm like, when you start fading like that in a cross country race, when you're having a bad day, usually you don't rally and catch people. Usually you keep going backwards, and it's a matter of stemming the bleeding and just making sure it doesn't get any worse. That is not what Katelyn Tuohy did. She battled back. She ran like a champion. When her team needed her the most, she delivered. Okay, she scored 5 instead of scoring 1 or 2, but absolute champion's performance. And she needed to pass everyone. She passed 6 people over the final 2 kilometers. If she had only passed 5, North Carolina State wouldn't have won because they would have lost on the tiebreaker head-to-head to NAU. Now, she's not the only one who stepped up. We had Samantha Bush for the second straight championship. She passed 20 people in the final kilometer at Oklahoma State last year. This year, she passed 14 in the final kilometer to finish 28th. Amaris Tenisma finished for the first time as an NC State athlete in a cross-country race. She actually finished the race. She DNF'd ACCs and regionals. She gets 25th. And this was also pretty amazing. Leah Stevens, the true freshman, who was fading badly over the second half of the race, she ended up losing 13 places over the final kilometer. She crossed the line in 20:08.2, the same time as Wisconsin's Leanne Willems and Cal Baptist Yasna Petrova. They all had the same time, but Stevens beat them by hundredths. And again, if she loses to either one of them, NAU's your team tied champions. So what happened here, it was exactly what Dave Smith said on the men's race. If you're going to beat the champion, you have to knock them out. You can't let it come down to a decision.